I love scary stories. I get goosebumps just thinking about them. So when my mom told me she wanted to go grocery shopping at 11 p.m., I should have known that something bad was going to happen. But little did I know how bad. My mom drives an old minivan. It's pretty beat up, but it gets the job done. Me and my little brother always ride in the back. And since we're not allowed to listen to music or podcasts while we're riding in the car, we usually just talk. But this night was different. For some reason, my mom decided that she didn't want to talk to either of us. She was acting super weird, like she was looking over her shoulder all the time, and she kept glancing at her side view mirrors even though there wasn't anyone else on the road. All I could think was, what if she's being followed? I started telling her that she probably should lock the doors and roll up the windows, but before I could even finish my sentence, she slammed on the brakes. I turned around in my seat to ask her why we stopped, but she had already gotten out of the car. Then I heard her yell, "Get down!" and I saw her frantically pushing my brother and I down into the floorboard. I tried to ask her what was wrong, but she put her hands over my mouth. Just then, headlights blinded me and a van screeched to a halt right behind us. My mom immediately started banging on the back window and screaming, "Get away from us!" That's when I saw him. He was sitting in the driver's seat smiling at us. I couldn't see his face because of the darkness, but I could see his eyes. They were glowing red. My mom must have realized that the side windows were tinted, because she ran to the other side of the car and started pounding on that window instead. Still, she was screaming for us to run away. I grabbed my brother's hand and we took off running. When I glanced back, I saw my mom jump into the back seat of our car and grab a baseball bat that was in the storage compartment. I don't know why she had a baseball bat in the storage compartment, but I'm glad she did. We were running as fast as we could, but the woods were dark and I kept tripping over tree roots and rocks. I could hear the crunch of gravel behind me, and I knew that whoever was following us was gaining on us. Then I remembered my mom telling us about a shortcut through the woods that would lead us to the bike path. Maybe we could make it to the bike path and find help. It felt like forever. But eventually, I saw a clearing up ahead, and I pushed myself to run faster. That's when I heard my mom scream, "Go, go, go!" Then I saw a pair of headlights in the distance, and I screamed, "Help! Help me!" The person driving stopped and shone their high beams into the woods. Then they got out of their car and started walking towards us. Finally, someone was coming to save us. But then I heard a blood-curdling scream. It was my mom. I froze in fear, but the man was getting closer and closer. Then he reached out his hand and grabbed my shoulder. "Are you okay?" he asked. I looked into his eyes, and I managed to stammer out, "Yes." He must have seen how scared I was, because he said, "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." He helped me up and then turned to my brother, who was shaking with fear. "What happened to you guys?" he asked. I explained everything to him, and he listened patiently. "Where are your parents?" I told him. "They went to check on Mom." Then we heard footsteps crunching in the gravel behind us. The man looked back and yelled, "Hey, get away from them!" Then I saw them. My mom and dad were running towards us, both holding baseball bats, and they looked like they were ready to fight. Dad swung his bat at the man and asked, "Who are you?" The man held up his hands in defense and said, "I'm just trying to help." Mom lowered her bat slightly, but she still looked suspicious. "What were you doing in the middle of the road?" she asked. "I saw your car pulled over, and I thought maybe I could help," he said. "But you guys seemed to be doing fine after I honked my horn, so I left." We were all silent for a moment, and then Dad said, "Thanks for your help. Come on, let's get out of here." As we walked away, I could hear the man calling after us, "Wait, I want to help." But we didn't stop. We walked in silence for a bit, and then Dad finally broke the quiet. "I can't believe how stupid I was," he said. "I should have known better than to drive out in the middle of nowhere at 11 p.m. "I'm sorry," Mom said, "but I needed those groceries and I didn't feel like going tomorrow." Dad sighed. "I know, but I'm just glad we're all okay." We finally made it to our car and got inside. I was so relieved to be away from the woods and that creepy van. As soon as we turned the key in the ignition and started the engine, I noticed something strange. My mum's hands were shaking. She turned to us and forced a smile. "Okay, kids, I'm sure you're hungry after that crazy adventure we just had. How about I make us some dinner when we get home?" Her voice sounded shaky and weak. I could tell that she was trying to be strong and act like nothing had happened, but I could also see that she was scared. I reached out and took her hand. "It's okay, Mom. We're here now," I said. She squeezed my hand tightly. "Thanks, honey," she whispered. "I'm just a little shaken up." I nodded understandingly. I knew that she was trying to protect us, and she didn't want us to see how scared she really was. As we drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that we weren't alone. I kept glancing over my shoulder to see if that van was following us, but I never saw it. I also couldn't help but wonder about the man in the woods. Who was he? Why was he there? And most importantly, why did he want to help us? I decided not to ask these questions. I didn't want to upset my mom or cause her to worry. So I just sat quietly in the back seat and tried to calm down. As we pulled into our driveway, I could see the relief on my dad's face. "I can't believe that actually happened," he said as he got out of the car. "Me neither," Mom replied. "But I'm just thankful that we're safe." We all hugged each other tightly, and then we went inside the house. I went to my room and lay down on my bed, but I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the events of the night in my head. Then I heard a knock on my door. I jumped and then turned to see my mom standing in the doorway. "Can I come in?" she asked. I nodded, and she came in and sat on my bed. "I just wanted to check on you," she said. "Are you okay?" I nodded again. "I'm fine, I guess," I said. "I just can't stop thinking about what would have happened if that man hadn't come to help us." "I know what you mean," Mum said, "but we'll never know what would have happened, and I don't want to think about it. The important thing is that we're safe now." I nodded, but I still couldn't help but wonder what would have happened if that man hadn't come to save us. Well, that was scary, but it's not the scariest story that I know. Want to hear the one where I almost drowned? Click here to watch this video, or click here to watch this one.